Have you not put yourself through enough suffering, gentlemen? Have you not suffered enough with your stubborn refusal to do what you know you must do? To fulfill your destiny as a critic, and to look into the future and tell the audience there what is the truth. Surely you see that this is how it must be. You see that this is nothing but stubbornness. How much longer shall you do this to yourself? You realize that you have sat in the cell for 2 weeks. 2 weeks where you have sat, done nothing except watch a monkey ice skate in the Central Park. Gentlemen, I do not wish to harm you anymore. I know that you've suffered. I understand that. I also know that this is not what you want to do. You do not wish to suffer forever, and you wish to be free. And so, I want to help you. I want you to no longer suffer. I want you to finish your review and end this. I know that it would not be easy, but let us make a deal. If you agree to do this review, I shall free you from your torment here, and you shall once again live in the world of mortals.
Yes. I'll do it.
You are doing the right thing, gentlemen. I am glad of that. Now, go home. Work.
Back. Okay, let's get this review over with. Oh, that's not good. How am I going to get my review done? Alright, well, even though my laptop did not really explode, it does not work because there's a motherboard problem. So, while I'm in between getting a new laptop, I will be giving you reviews in a different way, in which case, this way, which is what I call the editorial version. So, today's conversation, the top 12 reasons why I don't like King Kong Part 2. Number 12. Cliched character situations. Now, I know that cliches have been done all the time, and that it's hard to avoid them. But there are so many points in the movie where you just went, okay, well, I know what's going to happen next. Such as when Jimmy is sneaking along, join up with the group going out to face King Kong. And then Hayes is like, no, no, you don't come. And he's like, oh, but I want to. No, you don't. You stay here. Everyone knows that he's going to show up. Everyone knows that he's going to be there and he's going to do his part. And then the actor, when he decides that, oh, I'm not going to stick around, I'm going to leave, and then everyone goes, oh, you're a coward, and then he leaves anyway. But then he comes back and he has his last-minute redemption, and everyone knows that's going to happen. And it's just, some of these whole situations were just really contrived, and I found that to be really irritating and annoying. Number 11. Jack Black's overacting. Now, I'm not going to say anything about the rest of his acting because I don't know much about it. I don't watch many movies with Jack Black. However, in the case of King Kong, his overacting was really, really over the top. I mean, we saw parts in the first review where his eyes are just so wide, and he's looking at the camera, and you can tell that he's just hamming it up, and it's just way, way out of proportion to the character. And there's a lot more situations like that later on where you just look at him and you know, okay, he's having fun, but it's so unrealistic. So that's why Jack Black is on the list. Not high on the list, but on the list. Number 10. The CGI. This whole movie is pretty much filled with CGI, and a lot of it looks good, but there is just so much that it begins to look really fake. I mean, if you look at when they're running away from the dinosaurs in part 2, and you see all the stuff happening around them, you see them reacting to the dinosaurs, and in my case, I never really believed that the dinosaurs were there. It really did not look too realistic to me when you had all those dinosaurs massing together and everyone's dodging around between their legs, and I wasn't that impressed by it. And, well, you'll hear more about that in a little bit, but the CGI just never really fully grabbed my attention. And there was also all these other parts where they are dealing with things all around them. The jungle starts to look fake, and it all looks like it was green screened. I mean, I know my green screening is not all that good, but I was not really that invested in this green screening. However, there are some points that it does look really good, and I think I'll be getting to those in a little bit. Number 9. The CGI for King Kong. Okay, now I know I just talked about the CGI earlier for all the dinosaurs and everything, and, well, King Kong, in all truth, the way he looks, he looks really good. I'm going to give him that. They did a really good job designing the King Kong. However, when you look into the eyes of King Kong, you don't see the animal. You see human. You see a human intelligence there. And that removes the whole animalistic, oh, we feel sorry for the animal who's not smart enough to know better, and we just get instead the, oh, well, look at this guy, he's so human, but he's an animal. He is an animal. And in that case, he's not supposed to have all that intelligence. He's meant to be more animalistic. But, well, a lot of the animals in the King Kong series or movie do not have that animalistic quality. They are just there, or they're not there logically, or it's hard to knock points off because they did a good job designing Kong, but when they gave him all of those expressions and features in his eyes, they made him into an actor. He's not really an animal, he's the actor Kong. So that's why King Kong's on the list. Not high, but he's on the list. Number 8. The length of the end. Now, I know the story of King Kong. Monkey gets taken to New York after getting captured on the island, put on a show, and then at the show he goes crazy and starts tearing apart the place looking for the woman mate that he got on the island. And then he takes her out to Empire State Building. I know that story. But the way it's done here, it just drags on and on. Because we have first the Kong breaking out of the whole theater. That was good. That was good. Then he gets out on the street and he's grabbing women, looking for the one that he likes, and that was good. That was good. But then you get to the point where Adrian Brody's in his car and he's trying to distract Kong and lead him out of the way, and then Kong's chasing him, and that goes on and on and on. And then finally they catch him, and then the girl, Ann Darrow, and Naomi Watts comes walking out, and they have this long moment where he's looking at her and she's coming closer. It's like, This looks so ridiculous. And then they stand there for a long time. They just look at each other. Then he picks her up and they go walking through the street for a long time, actually. A very long time. We don't need it to go for that long. And then, of course, after that comes the heinous scene that will not be mentioned until later. Kong on ice. And after that, then they have the whole attack on the monkey, and the monkey goes running, and then it goes up the building finally. Then you have the big fight on the building, and then he falls and slowly dies, and it just went on for way, way too long. Around the point of Kong on ice, I was looking at my watch and just wishing that the movie would be over. So, the reason that it's so low on the list is because that's the whole picture of why I don't like it. And then we're going to go individually, most likely, into all these different aspects. Number 7. The absolutely insane number of bug scenes. Okay. Bugs are not scary. They're not even that interesting. Even monstrous bugs are not that interesting. So give us a few scenes with them, because that's what you want to do. That's fine. But give us scene after scene after scene after scene after scene, and you just have this weird obsession with bugs. Okay, so I may be going a little bit overboard with that, but let's look at it. There's the scene where they're walking through the jungle, and then Andy Serkis is shooting bugs with his machine gun, and that one giant bug. We've got the part where Daryl goes hiding into this log, and then the giant millipede or centipede scares her back out and into the T-Rex chase, coming up on that later. We have the part where Adrian Brody and his friends are on the raft, and they're going across the river, and then they get swarmed by all these bugs, and then after that we've got the bottom of the gorge where they get attacked by all these slugs and bugs. And what is your preoccupation with bugs? I really don't know why. It just, it doesn't do anything for anybody. So I think that's enough said. I mean, the bugs, there was just an overload on all these bugs. So that's why it's on the list. Number 6. The T-Rex fight. Now, there are parts about the scene that I do like, but the bad outweighs the good. For one thing, it's great. We got all these great T-Rexes. We're trying to get into the girl, but the whole reason for it is because this one T-Rex who had this dead, huge animal in its mouth decides that, oh, I want to get the little bite-sized creature over there. It's like, why? You've got this huge meal. Predators don't hunt when they're not hungry, and they've got this meal, so why are they going for the little guy? But then they all get attacked by Kong, and they all fight Kong, and then it starts to look good. But then it goes on, and on, and on. And that seems to be the case with almost everything that I'm complaining about, is the fact that everything is too long. So, I mean, while I enjoy it, and even though the CGI is a little bit off and I don't find it that believable, it's not that bad, but it's just so long. And also, first she gets chased by, Daryl gets chased by one T-Rex, she escapes it, and then there's another one right there. And then I was tired of it. Now the ending with the T-Rex getting its, that was awesome. That was awesome. But by the time it happened, I was just bored. And that's all I can say for it, so. Number 5. Again, like I said before, the CGI with the dino chase. The dino chase, the whole scene did not look all that realistic. I mean, we got these people running away from dinosaurs and they have to react to them, and then the dinosaurs just don't look that realistic. I mean, they're going, but never for one moment, never did I ever believe that those dinosaurs were there. I watched it, and it did not grab my attention. It did not make me go, oh wow, look at this. In fact, actually, because it's so long, I think it actually runs for a good 4 minutes or 5 minutes even. I was bored. I was legitimately bored. And Peter Jackson, I'm sorry, I like a lot of your movies, The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, but this movie bored me in so many different ways that it was frustrating. And you're going to hear a lot more about that in the next points, but the dinosaur chase was really, it was over the top even. I mean, okay, so we got these raptors that are chasing the dinosaurs, and then they're slipping in, they're going for the humans, and like, oh my goodness, humans are going to die. But then the raptor falls down, and then someone jumps up and kicks the raptor in the face. It's like, what? You kick a raptor in the face and you're running away. It was just so ridiculous that I was laughing, even up until the point when they did the next ridiculous thing, which is where Adrian Brody's character, I think it was Adrian Brody's character, runs over and pushes the dinosaur aside with his shoulder, and it just looks so ridiculous because you're running away from these creatures, you're taking the time to do these massive acrobatic feats and push them around, and it was just so ridiculous. So that's why it's on the list, and it probably should be higher than it is, but there are other things that annoyed me even more. Number 4. The Bottom of the Gorge. Again, the bugs. Why are there so many bugs? I mean, okay, so they had this climatic fight on top of this log bridge, and Kong threw them all into a gorge, and then they get attacked by all these bugs and slugs, and why? First of all, by this time in the movie, we've had so many action scenes that we are sick to death of action. And secondly, bugs. Why? I mean, none of us are interested in that, I don't think. I mean, I wasn't. At this point, I was really bored, and I was sick to death onto bugs. And it just went on and on and on and on and on, and it just went on for so long, and I was never invested in that scene, and I think that scene should have been cut a lot shorter than it actually was. Number 3, Adrian Brody. Now, I don't know the guy, I don't know what else he's done, but in this movie he's boring. He's got this really dry monotone in which he always talks, and there's just no passion in his language at all, even when someone's about to get eaten that he likes, he's going, oh my goodness, and behind the wall! It's just so boring. He is boring in this movie. And I don't have anything against him, I mean, I don't even know him, but in this movie, he really bored me, and he's supposed to be the sort of pseudo-hero who's not a hero kind of person. And, I mean, they do try and get that across pretty well. They've got him running around with a gun. I don't think he's ever shot a gun in his life, but he's running around with one now, and he's trying to be brave, even though it's just, we're supposed to identify with this character, and we don't, because he's just so boring. I mean, there's never any lines that he says I would say, wow, he's really into this. I don't think I've ever said that about his character at all, or I even thought it. I found him to be just a really boring character, and I mean, I know they're trying to play up Naomi Watts as her character as being more of a important character and a heroine, but they could have still made him interesting enough that we want to care about him. Number 2, the overload on action. I mentioned it earlier, but this is when it really became annoying. And that was with all the action in the movie. Altogether, it became a really boring movie because of the action. And that's not how it's supposed to be. The action's supposed to make it exciting. But the first half of the movie, we had all this character building, and we had just boredom from that. And then we finally get to the action, and after a few scenes of action, just non-stop action going on and on and on, we get tired of that too. And it made for a very boring movie. We've got our first half with all the character building. That was fine. If there was a little bit more action, it would have been great. And then we get to the second half where there's no character building. None at all. And we get all the action scenes that were in the first half. And that is why this movie is so boring. It's because it's not proportionate. It needs to be more action early on and more character building later. And if they did that, then this could have been a really great movie. If they trimmed out some of the extended action scenes, if they trimmed out all of the boring character building in the early part that we didn't care about. I mean, what's the guy with the mustache thing? Hold a comb in front of your face? I mean, one second. Who does that? Who does that? So, I may as well get my hair combed. But you see, the whole point of the thing is that scene did not do anything. It did not add anything. And when you have multiple scenes like that, and then we get bored in that first half because of that. And then in the second half, you have a whole bunch of action. It's supposed to be exciting. But then we get bored because it's just action. So that is why this movie needs to have more of a balance. And that is why I did not like it. Because there was no balance in action, character. It was just action or character. And that's why part 2 really failed. And the number one reason, Kong on ice. I think that's enough said. Kong on ice. We have a 1.5-minute sequence of a monkey skating around in Central Park on the ice. Did the studio executives just say, this sounds like a good idea, it's a character building? I said, no, it's not a character building. It is not character building. It is just plain out boring. There was no point to it. At this point, we all are ready for the monkey to climb up the building. We want the monkey to climb up and throw himself off just to end the movie faster. But Jackson wants us to watch a monkey ice skate in Central Park. I know it's only 1.5 minutes. I know that. But it really annoyed me because it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And that's saying I've seen a lot of stupid things. But Kong on ice. No. I think it stands for itself. Given it the name Kong on ice, it stands. So, that's the number one. That is the number one reason why I hated King Kong Part 2.
Thumbs down.
Okay, so now I've torn apart King Kong Part 2. And I left it with pretty much no redeemable factors at all. But there are a few points that are really good in that movie. 6 of them. Number 6. Jack Black's overacting. Okay, I know I said earlier that that's the number 11 reason why I did not enjoy King Kong Part 2. But at the same time, it's amusing. If you watch how he's overacting, it's so much fun just to watch him just go, I'm really good. You can tell the guy's having fun. While it's not believable to the story, you can tell he's enjoying it. He's loving this whole experience. And even though parts of it really annoyed me, at other parts you go, okay, that was so over the top that it was fun. And that's why I'm a little bit conflicted on that one, and it does help to make the movie a little bit more bearable. Because I actually enjoyed his character. His character was fun. It's just over the top at several points. Number 5. The brief moment when they hint at King Kong's mate. This was a scene that I really liked. It's when Adrian Brody is climbing up the mountain to get to where Anne is being held by King Kong after the sunset. It's nighttime. And for just maybe 1 second, they pan across this skeleton of a gigantic monkey. And it's clearly King Kong's mate. At least I think it was. But the whole problem is they only give it for 1 second. This is a scene that needs to be longer. Jackson, you've made all these long action scenes, but now we need to have a scene that is a little bit longer than 1 second on something that is more important. Because this is the character building. This would give Kong character. It would explain why he's abducting these women from the tribe of natives who are trying to placate him, but it just really brushed over. It goes, oh, there it goes, that gone. No, slow down. Show us that. That needs to be seen. This gives Kong character. And Kong has had no character. All we've seen the man is his monkey. He throws a tantrum and has the hots for a blonde woman. Give us another little detail. The monkey skeleton was that detail. And because it was more defining than anything else that they did, I liked it. So my regret is that it wasn't longer, and if it was, it probably would have been higher up on my list. But because it was there, even for 1 second, it deserves to be listed on the top 6 reasons of why this movie wasn't all that bad. Number 4. The character Hayes. I like the character Hayes a lot. He was one of the few characters that they gave him a little bit of mystery that they didn't fully explain until later. And then they let him just be the person who knows best, who has the best advice and is a natural leader. That was great. I love that. The character was amazing. And then halfway through, he gets killed. And I'm like, no! He's the character I really identified with. He's the character who was really good. But, to be fair, at least they gave him a good death. It wasn't just a sudden, oh, well, he's dead, moving on. It was, we are going to give him a very touching death scene. He's going to be doing something that deserves to be heroic. And for that, full props, Jackson. I just wish that you had given him a chance to do a little bit more. And there are actually a few deleted scenes in the movie that they gave him a little bit more to do. Like he questions the captain's decision to go on with Jack Black's mad scheme to go off southeast or something like that. And it was good. I mean, that was a really good character defining moment. I wish that defining moment had stayed in the original cut. But, well, in all truth, they chose not to. But Hayes still remains one of the better characters in the movie. Number 3. The music. The music was great. They've got the epic bong for King Kong, and it was really good. It showed gargantuan strength. It showed impressive power. It was mysterious also when it needed to be. And I really enjoyed that music. The music, it filled the heart that was vacant in the story because of the lack of action or the overload on action. The music made up for that. At the same time, though, it's not able to save the entire movie. It still, while it was enjoyable and it was a nice touch here and there, it was still a little bit, but it did help a lot. It helped with the movie making it bearable, so well done with that. Number 2, Naomi Watts. I regret I haven't seen that many movies with her, but she did really well in this one. I mean, this is a tough role because you have to be the screaming damsel, but you also, she brought in strength to this character. It wasn't just a it was, there were some actual moments where she is tough. I mean, there's a scene at the top of the mountain when she tries to punch Kong in the nose. Who does that? I mean, the fact that they had her do that, and she portrayed it so well, that, phenomenal. That was phenomenal. And there are these moments where you have to close up on her face and you see the real emotion behind how she's feeling. And it is so well done that she was one of the greatest moments on this whole thing. Because just watching her, you can see how everything is affecting her, how she is strong but frightened, and it is really well done. So the fact that they chose a really good lead to be the lead in this movie, that helped make up for a lot of the drawbacks also. But it still is not a good movie. But there is still the top reason for why this movie was good. And the number 1 reason why this movie was not that bad, the few touching scenes. There are some really beautiful moments in King Kong. There's the moment when and Naomi Watts and King Kong are on top of this mountain, and they're looking out at the sunset. And I mean, there's this brief moment, but it's really well done, where she and Kong actually have a moment of bonding. And I understand that it's mostly to show that animals can appreciate that also, but it shows that there's this bond between them, and it was a really touching scene, because they're both there and they're looking out at the sunset, and it's beautiful, and it was really well done. And also there was a moment when they meet up again in New York after being parted, and you can see that King Kong and Naomi are happy to see each other. The one thing I have to say is it went on too long, but what they did have was beautiful. And that is why King Kong, while it is a bad movie because it is so long and it's got all these other things I mentioned, it is still good because it has a few things. But the bad outweighs the good. So King Kong is still not that good. And that is the